Let's talk Miami recruiting. The Canes, they're surging into the top 10 in the On3 industry team rankings this weekend as they landed a commitment from four-star wide receiver Dylan Upshaw on Saturday. But the Canes are looking to move into the top 5, and there's a chance that they could get there by the end of next week because there's a big run of commits coming up. We're going to talk to Izubee Charles of CaneSport to find out which ones, could go in the Canes direction. But first, Miami fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We talk Canes recruiting all year long. We want you to be a part of it. Go ahead, hit subscribe. All right, let's bring on Izubee Charles from CaneSport. And Izubee, we're just a couple days away from five-star cornerback DJ Pickett making his final decision, and it sounds like the Canes are gaining momentum. What's the latest as we're just about 72 hours out?
I've always said I think this is Miami's recruitment to lose. And, despite a lot of people, saying Oregon has a momentum right now, I'm sticking with my guns. I'm doubling down. I think he's a Cane at the end of the day on July 17th. I think they get the number one cornerback in the nation. He's a top prospect on their board, if not, the number one guy. And, Miami's been all in on him since the very beginning, and I don't see them letting off anytime soon. I spoke with his dad, a few days before he's set to announce that commitment, and he's telling me, they're ready. They wanted to move it up. They know their decision. There's no point of kind of delaying it until October. They want to do it now. He said they want to be at that school that they commit to every single weekend for games, whether it's home and away. So, Miami's not that far of a flight from their area. So I think that's another thing that might play in their favor, that proximity to home. And there's one coach I want, recruiting for my team down the final stretch when it comes down to a big-time prospect. It's Mario Cristobal. So excited to see where things, go on July 17th. But right now, I'm sticking with my first guess, and I'm saying he goes to Miami at the end of the day.
All right, that's a big one. DJ Pickett's going to be Wednesday, July 17th. Then the next day, Thursday, July 18th. In-state three-star defensive lineman Jarquez Carter is going to decide. Now, he's going to either stay in-state or you got Penn State and Ohio State also trying to get involved here. But what do you think, Jarquez Carter, big position in need, big battle in-state. Where do you think he ends up?
Yeah, I think he ends up staying in the Sunshine State. I know Ohio State and Penn State are two big teams in the recruitment to go visa both of those programs. But after speaking with him after that OV to Miami and a few weeks out, spoke to him about a week ago, he still had a lot of great things to say about his trip down to Coral Gables. He was saying, hey, I'm a Florida kid. I'm not used to that cold weather, in Penn State and Ohio State. And he also said Miami's the best recruiting staff in the country. He just says compared to all the other schools, that was the best visit he's ever been on. It's hard to beat Miami recruiting and a lot of great things. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he was just blowing smoke or is he actually really, really locked in with the Canes and makes that decision, when he announces that commitment. So right now I'm leaning towards Miami with this one again, but I do think it's going to be a very tight race with those two Big Ten programs.
All right. And then 2 days later, on this channel, on the On3 Recruits channel, we got cornerback Jabori Andan. He's going to make his announcement. Now, he was just committed to LSU until he decommitted about 3 weeks ago. They did make his final 3, so there's a chance he could end up back at LSU. But FSU and Miami seem like the more likely destinations. What's your read on this recruitment as we're a week out?
Yeah, so when he wrapped up his official visit, he was, big smiles, wide eyes. He was really happy with the Cane staff. And then he told us, hey, I'm coming back for a game day visit in the fall. So hearing him decommit from LSU, that just made me think, okay, maybe this is kind of pouring towards Miami a little bit. They have a lot of ties to the state of Louisiana. Defensive coordinator Lance Guidry's from that state. Dennis Smith, Miami's, big-time recruiters from that area as well. And they really, really value Jabari. In Mario Cristobal's first recruiting cycle, offensive line was that big, group that they wanted to recruit. Last year was defensive line with guys like Justin Scott and Armando Blunt. This year's that secondary. Jabari is one of their top cornerbacks on their board. So they're all in on him. And I think this is another one. I know I sound like a broken record, but I do like where Miami stands in this one right now as well.
All right, well, let's keep it rolling because a day later, top 10 wide receiver in the country, Vernell Brown III, is going to announce his decision on July 21st right here on the On3 Recruits channel. So that's a great reason why you should be subscribed. Izubee, Vernell Brown III, is this one also going to go in Miami's favor?
See, contrary to the last 3, I think this one goes away from Miami, but I think they're playing the long game in this one. Right now, if I'm putting my eggs in a basket, I'm going with the Gators. He's like a triple Gator legacy. His entire family went there. He's originally from Gainesville. But I think right now the momentum's in their favor, but I'm not counting Miami out in the long run. Like I said, those two teams open the season up against each other August 31st, and depending on how that game goes, it might, go well for Miami, help their, in his recruitment, might go well for Florida, but Miami really, really values Vernell Brown. Since he came down, I think about a year and a half ago at their 7-on-7 camp, dominated, earned that offer. Coach Kevin Beard has been all over him. He thinks he's one of, if not the best wide receivers in the country, and they absolutely love him. So right now I'm leaning towards the Gators, but I do think Miami's going to play the long game in this one and kind of chip away and chip away and chip away as time goes on.
All right, Izubee, who else should Miami fans have an eye on or just watching over the next couple weeks? Because we know the Canes are hot on the recruiting trail right now.
Yeah, one guy I have my eye on right now is a local guy out of Booker T. Washington, another cornerback. Like I said, Miami's all in on the secondary class this year. That's Ben Hanks. That's another Florida-Miami battle. Similar to Brown, he's a Florida legacy. His father played linebacker at the University of Florida in the early 90s, but Miami absolutely loves his game, loves his aggression, loves his playing style, loves everything about him they love. So another guy they're really, really high on, and I think he can pull the trigger, sooner rather than later. No official date set, but, in recruiting, things can pop up, anytime. So he's definitely a guy that I'm going to be watching, in the meantime, as we go through, this 10 days of madness, like Dennis Smith said, this upcoming week.
Yeah. All right, Cane fans, how are we feeling about these 10 days of madness? What about the guys we previewed? Who do you think the Canes land? Let us know. Comment section below.